me, Big Mo. Had a problem the other day. I needed a new spindle on my mower. It was a 48-inch Tiger Cat Scag. And they were just really backed up and busy at the dealership, and I wasn't able to get them to do it. You know, they were weeks behind, so I couldn't wait weeks to get it fixed. So I had to just go get the part from them, go get the spindle from them. And I'd never replaced a spindle before, so I had to figure out how to do it. And I figured I'd share that with you, how to do it. I'm not going to do it again on camera, but I will show you step by step what I did. If you're a mechanic out there, give me some slack. I'm not a mechanic, I just play one on YouTube, okay? And what you will need, what I used, you'll need a jack, to jack up the front of your mower. You'll need one, can't get my camera to work, there it is, breaker bar, okay, ruler or measuring device of some sort, a puller, a couple of wrenches, and a socket. This is a 7/16 on this particular mower, and 1/2 on this particular mower, and the equivalent of that in a socket. Okay, so what you do first, jack it up. If you've never replaced your belt on your mower, then I admire you for tackling the spindle first. But just in case, most of you don't know how to do this, you put the breaker bar in that square right there, and then what you'll do is you'll pull it really hard. I don't want to do it right now because I don't want to take my belt off, but you'll pull it really hard or push it really hard, wherever you look at it, and you can lift that belt right up off that. Okay, that's the first step. Next step would be take your blade out, just like you're changing your blades. Just loosen that, drops down, get the blade out of the way. Okay, then what you're left with is this thing here you got to tackle, which is called a taper lock. Okay, I believe it's called a taper lock. But before you tackle that, what you want to do is you want to take your measuring device, whatever you have, measure it from the deck up to the very top of your pulley here, and you write that down, because you're going to need that later. You're going to need that measurement because you're going to want to put your pulley back in the same spot. Okay, so what you do now, once you got that measurement, make sure you get that, it's very important. You take this, which happens to be on mine, a 7/16. You take these two bolts out, take them all the way out, and nothing's going to happen. But here's where the magic happens. You put these that you took out of here, and these will be bigger holes. You take them and put them in these smaller holes, okay? But before you do that, what I would suggest, just to cut out the middleman, I'll put them in there and then tighten them down evenly, little by little, and nothing happened. It just stopped. I couldn't get it to go any farther, no matter what I did. So I just took them out, and what you need to do is spray it with WD-40. Okay, just spray it down good with WD-40 and let it soak for a minute. And then I took these that I took out of there, threaded them into here, little by little, evenly doing that, tightening them down. And what happens is this pulley will drop. It'll just drop down out of the way. Then since you're replacing the spindle, I wouldn't even worry about the top here. what you do is put your pulley puller up underneath that thing now, because you can get up underneath it now that the pulley is dropped down. You can get underneath this taper lock. Take your wrench. Well, I didn't account for that, but you will need a wrench that fits whatever pulley puller you have, and tighten it down, tighten it down, tighten it down, and that taper lock will pull right off. Once that happens, man, you got it made in the shade, really. You may have to use some WD-40 or an air wrench or whatever on these 4 bolts. You're gonna have these 4 bolts, like, let's see, like this one here, which happens to be a 1/2. All I did was put the wrench on here like that, went underneath it with the ratchet. It wasn't even tight, wasn't even that tight, you know, wasn't hard to get off. That wrench will catch on there, on the inside there, and it'll hold it for you, the top nut, the locking nut. Your pulley, I mean your spindle, may come with new bolts. Mine did, came with new bolt, locking nut, and locking washer, okay? If it don't, you need to make sure you don't lose your locking washer and everything. And but mine did, so I just discarded those old. They were kind of rusted up. And once you take those out, loosen them, take it out, that spindle will drop down. It'll just drop down out of the thing. When you go to put the new spindle back in, just make sure that it's common sense. Just make sure that the nipple here, right here, that you grease it with, is in the right position, where your little trough is, where you can get your gun in there. Make sure your grease gun, make sure that's lined up. I'm not sure if it would go on. I didn't try to put it on the wrong way. So just make sure that that's lined up. Put it up in there, put your bolts back in, tighten them down really good. And then you put your, mine didn't come with the little key thing here, with a new one of these, so I had to pop it out of the old one, which wasn't a problem. You just pop it out of there, put it into the new spindle. It's just a little square piece of long rectangle piece of metal. Put it in there, and then you put your pulley and then your taper lock back on there. It should go on there just easy. And then you're going to have to keep this held in place at the right level. You measure it, make sure you got the same level you had before on the top of your spindle to your deck down here. Just make sure you got it right, the same height, and then you start evenly tightening these down as you go. And you're going to have to really keep that in place, because it'll want to move and move and move, and all of a sudden it won't want to move. But yeah, just make sure, get it snug, and then kind of get it in place, and then kind of hold it as you're tightening them down. And it seemed like, however that thing works, I don't know how that taper lock even works, but you tighten one side down as tight as you could get it, and it would, you know, and it wouldn't go any farther. You tighten the other side down, and then when you got to the back to the other side, it would tighten more, and you just kind of keep going back and forth evenly, tightening them down. And that's it, man. You just put your belt back on, and you're good to go. You know, it worked, you know, is all I can say. That's how I did it. You may curse me, you know, in the comments. If you do, you know, if I did something wrong, put in the comments what I did wrong. Maybe it'll help the person watching this video. It's just how I knew how to do it, you know. But, you know, I thought that'd help y'all, maybe help somebody out there changing it. It's not really as daunting a task. I mean, I know for some of you guys, y'all rebuild a spindle, you know, but But it was a little daunting, you know, for me because, you know, I'm not a mechanic, you know. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad changing it at all. So hope that'll help somebody out there. And that's all. Big Mo signing off. See ya. Yeah. Okay, go away.
This has been a Lone Stars Dramedy Network presentation. Dolling.